Oh, look at this. It's Friday the 13th.
Spooky.
Spooky. All right. I guess I got my spooky cowboy outfit on, if any of you are wondering, for this episode of Murphy's Market Minute, because I'm going to go film an episode of Backseat Ballers today. It's something I don't think we've talked about here in Murphy's Market Minute before. But I'll just take a quick minute. It's a pet project of mine that I'd come up with over a decade ago, driving Uber for 3 weekends when I wanted to see if that was a viable, platform or not. And it's morphed quite a bit since my original idea. But basically, we've got 6 episodes in the can. We're filming the 7th one today. I think it's going to be pretty spectacular. They're going to be an hour long. They're going to start dropping onto YouTube 1 hour at a time. They're very non-political. It's just a conversation between me and a local business owner. It's not really so much about business, but it's about life and the things that you go through trying to be an entrepreneur and trying to have your own business, marriages and divorces and bankruptcies and failures and all the rest of that kind of stuff. So we've had some phenomenal conversations, learned some really cool things. It's just amazing the wisdom and the insights that people gain along the way. And I'm really excited to be able to share it.
And it helps support charity as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of the cool thing about it is the business owners, in order to be featured in an episode, the only cost to them is a $1,000 donation to the I Am Foundation, which is a local charity here in Kansas City that works with at-risk youth. Pairs them up with business owners for summer internships, pairs them up with college students to act as mentors to work them through the high school and college process. They teach leadership skills, they teach etiquette, just all sorts of cool stuff. And I think we're hosting, 40 of them?
Yeah. So next week, actually on Tuesday, we're hosting them. Probably be up here and basically break them up into groups. And Elliot's going to be teaching them all about finance and tax, just like real life stuff that really isn't taught in school. And I think that's why this foundation is such a good idea, just because these kids are actually getting like life skills. And during the summer, I was looking at their schedule, and like every day throughout the week, it's booked. They're going to this business, that business, and they're basically working with the owners of these businesses, and they'll get like projects to do. And so they're actually like doing like a real project that they would be doing at that job, essentially. And they're getting a lot of good life experience. And then with us, being able to learn more about, like I said, tax, like just pretty much the basics that most like young adults have no clue. And so that'd be good. And so I think it would be valuable for them, and it'll be cool experience for us.
Yeah. And I'm actually going to teach them a lot of the stuff my mom taught me as a kid. When I was 10 years old and started babysitting, she'd have me, I had a little 3x5 spiral bound note card book, and she'd have me recording it, who I worked for, how much they paid me, what day I worked. And then I had 3 categories of money: tithing, savings, and spending. And I'd put 10% to tithing, 50% to savings, 40% to spending. And went to CapFed, opened up a bank account, started putting that savings into it. 15, started investing with our family investment advisor. So I love this because it makes me think back to the lessons that I got taught as a kid and when I got taught them. And it just makes me feel so grateful for them, and then the opportunity to share them with other kids.
Yeah. Because a lot of it's not super complicated stuff, but it's stuff that, like I said, most young adults don't know. And a lot of people are set up for failure, but I think these kids are going to do quite well.
Yeah, I think so as well. So, hence the get up. So you'll have to check out when the website drops for Backseat Ballers in the first episodes. You'll have to check that out. As for Murphy's Market Minute today, all right, I want to start with something that I talked about a long time ago, and I even told the story of when I was in Jackson Hole previous to the election. And I was there with Paul Ryan and Mike Pence and Paul McCauley. Now, I mentioned those 3 names for a reason. Paul McCauley is a diehard Democrat, leftist, and one of my favorite people. It was really hilarious because it was right after the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and he doesn't know a lot about guns. And so we spent the whole time talking ballistics and what it's like trying to take a target down and all the different factors that go into effect and just all that kind of stuff because, my former line of work and all. And then you had, on the other side of the political spectrum, you had Mike Pence and Paul Ryan. Now, the thing that I thought was interesting is all three were in total lockstep in regards to tariffs. And they all disingenuously referred to tariffs as a tax, which it's not. And there's a huge difference. And I think we've already covered that before. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to make this video super long. But there's a major difference between a tax and a tariff. They all claimed that it was going to result in inflation, even though you can all go back to 2018 when the largest tariff package ever enacted against China was enacted against them. It was so huge that most economists didn't think that China even had the ability to comply with their trade agreement that they made to get out from under it. Then, at the beginning of 2024, the Biden administration doubled down and increased tariffs. So I'm sitting here listening to three people, all way more educated than I am, all with significantly more experience than I have had. And all three of them are in lockstep that tariffs are going to cause inflation and are going to be this horrible thing to the economy. And I'm sitting here going, you guys, but like I can go not back that far ago and none of what you're telling me happened. So how can you speak with such authority, with such certainty that it's going to happen this time? So now let's fast forward to the inflation report that came out this week. Where are we at with that?
Below expectations.
What? You don't say.
Yeah. So CPI was at 2.4.
2.4. Oh, my goodness. And what's their goal?
They're trying to get down to 2, but I think...
Haven't they all thrown the towel and pretty much agreed that that 2's not really where they need it to be anymore?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the Fed more so uses that core PCE for their decisions. I could be wrong there, but and that's even closer to 2. But yeah, this CPI report was at 2.4 and expected 2.5. And it's just, it is funny that each inflation report that's come out is below expectations.
Yeah.
So
now, is that just because of tacos?
That's what some people would say.
Right. Trump always chickens out.
Yeah, some people would say that. And
but are there not tariffs that have been put in place that are held in place?
Oh yeah. And for example, talking about tariffs, like this week, like China, like they're getting close to finalizing a trade agreement here.
Yep.
And it's just funny because last month or so, it's been, everybody's saying 30% tariffs on China. Because that's what it was, 30% on China, 10% on the U.S. from China. But in reality, that doesn't also include the existing 25% that were in place for hundreds of billions of dollars worth of goods.
Yep.
And it just to me that part's just kind of funny because we never really even talk about them when we're talking about these tariffs. We don't even include those existing tariffs, and those have been in place since 2018.
Yeah. Now what's the other thing tariffs are supposed to do? Destroy consumer sentiment. Where are we at with that?
Yeah, I
mean that report just come out?
Yeah, everything's been pretty strong.
Between
like the sentiment and then also like a jobs report. I think that was last week was better than expected. So a lot of these like economic indicators are honestly
pretty bullish,
quite
right?
Yeah, quite strong. And so I don't know. It's just something to take a note of. And at this point, we're past 2 months into after the Liberation Day tariffs, and there's already tariffs in place before that, and we're still not really even seeing the inflation. So I don't know. I guess we'll keep tracking it as it goes.
So the latest University of Michigan survey released Friday showed sentiment increase for the first time since December 2024, the index rising to a reading of 60.5. That's up from 52.2 the month before.
Yeah, what was it in April? Or that was the April of the 52?
It just says with the index rising to a reading of 60.5, so that would have been June.
Yeah.
So May would have been 52.2.
I think those are like lagging.
But they're always back, right? So June is really the 60, April's really the 52. Because I'm sure it's a month.
Yeah, they lag a month. Because
Yeah.
You gotta gather all the data.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's climbing, and I think one of the big ones is the inflation number, and I don't know. We'll be curious to see. I know the expectations of a rate cut this month or next are quite low, but
pessimism over inflation outlook lessened in June as one-year inflation expectations plunged to 5.1% from the more than 4-decade high of 6.6% reached in May. And I would tell you, the only reason anybody thought it was 6.6% is because they can't turn their freaking television off.
Yeah.
And you just get, and finally they wear themselves out, and you just tune them out, and reality can set in, and expectations plunge to 5.1 from 6.6. How it's not even lower than that is beyond me.
That's what they're expecting this time 1 year out. It'll be like this month it was 2.4. They're expecting May of 2026 to be 5.5 year over year.
No.
That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah. 1 year inflation expectations.
Yeah,
so yeah. Yeah.
Well,
so why?
It'd be curious to see it.
Yeah.
That's higher than what I would probably think, to be honest.
Yeah. Now I would tell you, I do believe that like there's still a lot of uncertainty. There's still a lot of people treading water. A lot of people that I know that own businesses can feel it. But I just think this is like, you're going to see this stuff start to impact the rest of the economy. So, yeah. So anyways, the market today, I don't know if any of you saw Israel doing what the whole world's needed somebody to do for the last 20 years. And that's put an end to Iran and their nuclear ambitions. And boy, oh boy, they're going at it.
Definitely. Sounded pretty successful too, but the markets are down a little bit because of that today.
Yeah, which makes no sense because last I checked, Iran's got nothing to do with the global markets.
I will say it looks like the SP's climbing as the day goes on though.
Oh, it will.
It's down 0.4 now, whereas earlier today I think it was down well over a point.
The Dow's still down 1, the Nasdaq's down 0.4, Russell 2000 is down 0.75 of a point. Crude oil's up almost 5 1/4.
Yeah, the oil's the one thing that's up big because some a lot of oil comes from the Middle East.
Yeah,
and so the oil's like 6% up or so.
Yeah, they're always worried about Iran shutting down that Strait of.
Yeah, I think I read that 20% of the world's oil comes from that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but ain't nobody letting them shut that thing down for long.
Yeah. So.
But it was awesome. They tricked a bunch of Iranian generals to go into a meeting. Did you see that?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. So they spent a long time studying these guys and figuring out how to manipulate them into going into a meeting and staying there.
And Israel did that?
Israel did this. Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, then they snuck people into Iran with countermeasures to take out their missile defenses and stuff like that. So they got everybody to this meeting. Then they took out all their ground-to-air defensive mechanisms, and they killed them all.
Well, no wonder it was so successful.
It was brilliant.
Very elaborate.
The freaking masterclass.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And I will say, even though the markets are down today, we're still up for the week, and we're still over 6,000 on SP 500.
Sweet.
So I think last week we barely closed above 6,000. This week we might close a little bit above what we did last week, and
so year to date the S&P is up 2 1/4. Right? Is that what, that's what mine. I know everyone.
Mine always says 2.5. It's always slightly off.
Yeah, every one of these sites says something different. Dow's down 0.1 according to my source for the year to date. Nasdaq is up 1.3 year to date. So it'll be interesting to see. Do you think Summer of Love 2.0 is gonna pop off and cause us problems? I don't really feel like there's all that motivation this go around.
I think if things stay as they are, then probably won't get too crazy. And it certainly won't really affect anything.
Well, I guess we'll see this weekend. You got the No Kings protests planned nationwide. So, I really would appreciate it if protesters would shift their schedule to the wintertime. Right? It's like summertime is supposed to be warm and sunshine and picnics and barbecues and lake time and beach time, right? You know?
Yeah.
Winter's gloomy.
Go ahead and knock that out during the winter months. Get that out of your system then.
Yeah. I don't know. So, but I don't think you're going to see these protests really impact the markets. I don't think you're going to see Iran impact the markets. Consumer sentiment is popping. Inflation is 2.4. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I don't know. Unless you're in Iran or LA, life is good.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's good out here. So
yeah, right?
Can't complain.
All right. Well, I think that's all we got for this week's rambling Murphy's Market Minute.
I think so.
This is Elliot.
Nathaniel.
Signing off, guys.